Easy now. How's it going, people? So I have had my new HDTV antenna delivered. This is it here. So we're going to do a comprehensive review of this. Now I've already tested out one of these because I don't have just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the reason I've got 5 is because I wanted to put one in pretty much every room in the house, and they do this deal which sounds great. The more you buy, the cheaper it gets, which is fine. Obviously that's great. Smooth that way. Now here's the catch. Once you click on the screen, we've all seen this ad, which I'm going to put in now. So we've all seen this ad that's floating around on Facebook, so we thought, great, an antenna that picks up so many channels, and you just plug it in, turn your TV on, and boom, you are done. Now, it's not quite as simple as that. It is fairly easy, to be fair, but for anybody that's not very computer or TV literate, if you like, don't be expected by the advert to just plug it in, turn your TV on, and it to be working, because let's face it, nothing's ever that simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what you get in a box, what you get, how to set it up onto the TV, and obviously each TV is different. Depending on your TV, it depends on how you tune in your TV. Obviously I'm using an LG TV, so I'll be showing you on that one. So, but before we go any further, so you click on that ad, you go, great, fantastic. You go, I want one. And then it gives you some options. Now, the options are 1, get 3 for £80, 4 for £90, and etc. It goes on. So we got 5 for about £123, thereabouts, which I thought, great. It saves us money on having a satellite kind of thing, and generally we've got on Netflix, we don't use the TV a great deal, so we thought this would be better, having just a normal antenna kind of thing that picks up lots of channels. Remember that, lots of channels. Then as you go through to the next stage, because you have to click the button, it doesn't let you go any further, because they say to continue any further you have to pay. So that way, £30 or thereabouts, I think it was about £36 or something silly for an amplifier. I'm not quite sure. I thought this was the whole point. You get this, you just plug it in and off you go. So straight away that's the next step. It won't let you go any further without you saying, yes, I've got to have this. So straight away that then adds to your bill. Now I've got 5 boxes, so it doesn't tell you how many of these are coming. So I took a chance anyway. I just went for clicked yes and carried on. And lo and behold, we have 5. 5 of these amplifiers have turned up, which is great. So what do you get in them? Start with this little amplifier. So this little amplifier is like any old kind of amplifier. It plugs into the antenna and then plugs into the TV. So let's open this up. As you can see, this is all still brand new. So you get an antenna which has got a bit like a satellite kind of connectors on it, and then it's got a USB connector on the other end. I'll show that in close up in a minute. It's got a little LED light which comes on once it's got power to it. Don't do what I did. I thought I'd plugged it in. I hadn't plugged it in, and I'm thinking, why isn't it working? Anyway, so in the box, let's open a box and have a look. Don't know where my knife is, so if in doubt, brush a pen. So they seem to stick these cards on literally everything, everywhere. There's these cards everywhere, and they just have, thank you for choosing TV Fox, blah blah blah. Now obviously, this is not a paid endorsement or anything like that. I'm not getting paid for this. To be honest, I probably wouldn't take it if they tried to. So, what do you get in a box? Not a lot, to be honest. So this is what you see. You get a caution, sharp edges, handle with care. Not quite sure where the sharp edges are, but I guess. You get an information pack, instructions, which is, to be fair to it, is relatively easy to follow, step by step, plug in, and then it tells you that you've got to tune it to the TV, which kind of, the advert doesn't actually say, oh, you have to tune it in, but, you know, etc, whatever. So, anyway, so then this is it. Nothing else in the box, nothing. This is it. This is what you're paying the money for. To be honest, it's quite slick, it's quite nice, I quite like it. And then it comes with a little sticker on the back here. Be warned, if you're going to stick this on your paintwork, as I did earlier, it tells you that once you tune it, if you don't get a good, if it starts glitching or what's the wording they put wording for this. It says if it is spotty, try relocating spotty. If it's spotty and then spotty, try relocating an aerial. Scan again, placing an antenna near a window or a higher up position. So when they say stick it next to your TV, don't just stick it next to your TV. And if you do, maybe just lay it gently on. Don't stick this on, because the sticker that's under here is a good sticker. Now, when I did the first tuning of it, I thought, because I was still trying to work out how it all worked properly, and yeah, I decided to move it. I managed to re-stick it somewhere else. However, it took half my wall with it. Literally, it pulled my paint off. I will show you where it's pulled the paint off. So again, make sure you know where you're going to be putting this. It says near a window, ideally near the TV if you can keep it there, but don't forget, depending on whereabouts you are, depends on where you're going to get your signal. So if you've got an antenna that's not far away down the road, then great, you know, you're going to get it picked up from there if you're this side of the house. If your antenna's like this in the miles away, like 60 miles that way, then you want it to be a bit further that way. Not saying it's going to be quite to that dramatic, but I moved mine from there to there, and that made a lot of difference. That actually cleaned up the signal. Didn't give me necessarily any more channels, but who knows. So yeah, so this is it. So it's relatively thin. I mean, it's just a plastic. It's got quite a long cable with it. So good bit of length. And then on the end here, you've got your standard old school aerial connector. Now, anybody that's had a TV in their lifetime will know that this is a normal, everyday aerial connector. Complete normal. The only difference is on the back of it, it screws into, like I said before, like your Sky kind of cable or satellite kind of thing. So I don't know the terminology for these things, so don't bother saying, oh, we should have called it this. I have no idea. To be honest, I don't really care. So yeah, so anyway, so this screws in here, which is great, and it comes attached. Now the first thing you're going to have to do is forget this, take that off, take your amplifier and screw this where that was into the end here. So making sure that you don't bend that little wire that's coming out. That goes in there, and then he says it's easier said than done. He says so that's really handy. Right, there we go. We got it. Stupid things. Yeah. So obviously wind it all the way in. Now this bit should be freely moving. That's why it's tight. And then you make sure that's nice and tight, and that's in there. So then your aerial is attached to the amplifier. Then you take the other end of the amplifier, which had this piece, and then we attach this. If you're thinking, well, we don't need an amplifier, we'll just plug it straight in. Tried that, doesn't work. So again, wind that one in there. That's it, you are ready to go. So remember, don't stick it down. So now, obviously, I'm going to show you where you've got to put everything. So most modern TVs now have got USB ports, so you can plug it in. If you haven't, I would have thought, I have not tried this, but I will try it. I would have thought that this would plug into kind of like a phone charger. So you plug it into one of the phone chargers, plug it into the power socket, then that will give this a constant power. Because I can only see that being just a normal 12 volt. Yeah, it'll only be a power source. So yeah. So aerial port goes into the back of the TV, just like your old school TV. If your smart TV has got a USB port, that goes into there. Right, TV moment. So we're going to take our aerial and plug it in. So obviously this is going to go in the back, that's going to go in the back if you've got a USB charger, and then that's going to go on the wall. Before I even go near something like a wall, I'm not going to stick that down. So just to point out, sorry if I'm a bit close, sorry to just point out, sticker. This is where I stuck it, and it ripped off the wall. So again. So here we go. So this here, as you can see on the back of my LG TV, I've got USB ports. I've got USB 2 there, USB 1, USB 3, etc. All the other normal stuff. Anyway, so I've plugged the standard USB port and I've plugged it in. I checked that I've got a little green light, so that's working. I checked that all this is nice and tight. Now I'm going to take my normal aerial connector, and then I'm going to plug it into back of the TV on a normal aerial connector. I'll show you that in a minute. Just a standard normal one. So that's all in. I've got to check my light is on. Okay. Now then, obviously it's all got to be tied up yet. Then obviously you need to place the aerial somewhere. Now again, as I said before, I stuck it on the wall here and it took all the paint off. So bear that in mind. So obviously I'm still running tests on all this to make sure all this stuff works and to make sure I'm happy with it all. So as you can see here, this is the wire. This is where it seems to be the most happiest, and I've stuck it on the wall here for now. Not sure if it's going to stay there because I don't like the fact that the wire's hanging down like this. Ideally, in an ideal world, you'd like it behind a picture frame or behind your TV, anywhere that hides it really. I mean, this is quite slick looking, this looks good, but having a wire run down your wall across doesn't look very good at all. So obviously that's got to be sorted out. However, okay guys, it's now to tune the TV in. Okay, so I'm going to be using my LG TV Smart TV. So this is my remote here for this particular TV. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, obviously ignore this, this is on another device. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm then going to press the smart button, which is this one here. Let's turn that off. Okay, so then what we need to do is we actually need to go down here to settings. Okay, so use your, depending on what kind of remote you're using, you could use one of the ones, all depends on your actual TV itself. So what you do is make your way down to settings. Okay, and then it's going to bring you up a list here, and as you can see on the left hand side of my particular TV, I need to find antenna or tuning. So as we go down here, here we go. So you see it says auto tuning. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to auto tuning, and all we're going to do is press select. Now it's going to say select the input source program. Well, we know it's an antenna. So we know it's an antenna. We're not using a cable at the moment, and we're not using satellite. So now we're going to press next. So select tuning operations, digital only search. So basically what you want to do is you don't want to just tick one of these. Okay, so the best thing to do is just press start. Then it's going to come up here, and as you can see here, it's now trying to find all the channels. So at the moment it's got to 21, and it's now going to work its way all the way up. DTV, that's digital TV, so you want to leave that one ticked. The radio, you kind of want to leave ticked. The best thing to do is just leave it alone, let it do its thing. And so as you can see, we're now up to 92%, 93, etc. And if you can see here, it says 27 programs have been found, or channels. Radio, it says 16. Don't take that to heart, because actually when it boots up there is more on there. What I would advise is, if you're expecting it to be like some miracle thing that's amazing, don't be too disheartened. So okay, so we've got to the end of this now. It's got 100% here, so now I'm going to press done. I'm going to come back out of that. So now here we go. So we've now got all the channels. And when I say all the channels, we shall go through them. So obviously this seems to be BBC One. BBC Two, ITV, and you can see, yeah, it's pretty good. Quality's pretty good. It's fairly crisp. Some, obviously that's going to be a bit pixelated, that one anyway. So again, nice, fairly clean. Yeah, so I'd say it's pretty good. So now if I just jump up a bit, so see here, it then goes 15, 24, 28, 33, 100, 201, 202, 231, 600, 800, 700. Always come back down. So as you can see there, it says there is a lot more channels on there than what it previously said. However, what you've got to bear in mind is, so obviously it shows that there's lots of channels, which is fantastic, great, love it. However, if you're expecting it to be like loads of like full movies, everything, don't be surprised if you don't get them. Depends on where you are. Literally, if you're in a great place where there's good, strong signals, you're going to get more channels. But don't hold your hopes up. If you're looking for something that's cheap and you don't have to pay any additional fees, then it's great. Obviously you have to make sure you have not necessarily a smart TV, but something that has got Freeview. Freeview is the channels. You don't get channels with anything else really now. I mean, don't hold me to this, I don't know per se, but as far as I'm aware, if I plug this into my standard TV, my old fashioned kind of TV, it's not going to work. So I think they're all done nowadays anyway. So if you've got a TV that's got, say, Freeview, this is great. It's just an aerial, it will boost your aerial, fine. Would I say it's worth the money? It's not for really me to say. I mean, I would personally, I think it's great. Was it worth 150 odd pounds? Because obviously I had to buy the antenna, I had to buy the amplifiers. So yeah, I mean, for what it is, if you just want to be able to watch TV and then not have to pay your satellite fees and etc., things like that, your cable, then yeah, if that's what you want, great. Don't expect it to be plug it into the back of the TV, stick it on the wall and done, because let's face it, it's not just a 5-minute job. Depending on how your TV tunes, you know, some TVs are still a bit of a mind meld to mind. Some TVs are still a bit of a to get your head round. But majority of them, something like this is fairly simple if you know what you're doing. If you don't, then obviously follow this. I hope this helps people with getting it on, getting it working. So I've got 4 more of these to now go and install. So I will be doing that. I think I'm going to keep them, but time will tell. I may end up sending them back. I wouldn't suggest going and maybe buying this one. However, I believe there is quite a few different variations of this. Some of these are big ones. I think this is like the smallest one I've seen. But for all intents and purposes, I'll give it it's good enough for what we want. Like I say, we've got all of our Netflix and things like that anyway. This would be fine for just watching your normal TV and your few extra things as well, like your couple of children's programs, things like that. Anyway, I hope you liked watching this video and I hope it was helpful. Please like and subscribe. Bye. Peace out.